Well, I just got back from the store. I had to pick up some milk, some eggs, just some normal stuff, day to day. Oh, this? Oh, this is just my everyday carry. Am I printing? Okay, so my everyday carry. This is a video that I didn't think I was actually going to make. I was never really planning on making an everyday carry video, mostly just because there's so many really great videos out there that I didn't think, the internet needed another one. But you guys have been asking over and over, it seems, for me to do one, so here it is. Today we're going to talk about who I am, why I carry the things I do, and I'm going to break it down into a couple sections. Section 1, camera gear. Most of you guys probably aren't going to be interested in this, but it is part of my personal everyday carry. Then we're going to talk about medical gear, and medical gear is going to be a very small section because I think it's important. Not many people talk about it, and I'm going to talk about my specific means of carrying it that I think might be a little bit unique or a little bit more feasible for most people, because there's a lot of things out there that are just not something that anyone's going to actually carry every day. And then we're going to talk about the things that I'm sure you actually care about: the gear, the flashlights, the guns, the knives, the accessories, all those sort of wonderful doodads that I'm sure you guys actually watched this video for. So let's jump on into it. First, we're going to talk about the camera gear. So my camera gear is my shit's expensive, but it's sort of still in that realm of like minimalist, where I'm not carrying a whole lot with me. If the goal is not to actually go out and create photos or videos for work, I'm going to want it to be as minimally intrusive as possible. I want something that's small, lightweight, easy to carry around. That's why I have a mirrorless camera that you'll see in a second. But ultimately, my camera gear, when I'm not being paid to shoot, I want it to be something that's a secondary item and not the prime focus. I don't want to lug around 15 pounds of camera bag with all kinds of gear and 2 bodies and 5 lenses and 17 batteries. Just not my thing. So let's show you the camera gear. So as far as what I actually shoot with, and actually what I'm recording this with, I own 2 of the same cameras with different lenses that I think, for me personally, the way to go, being a semi-pro doing weddings, having 2 of the same camera is awesome, because it allows me to do a little bit easier editing later. So the camera that I use is a Sony a7 III, and what I would consider my everyday lens would actually be this Tamron 28-75. Now this lens has a fixed aperture of about 2.8. I like it. It's not quite as wide of an angle as I would potentially like, but it's got good reach to it, good versatility, very lightweight, which for me is huge. If I'm not going to be lugging around multiple lenses, cameras in a day, I want something that's simple. Now this is a fairly big camera, I mean, I have fairly large hands, and just to see the size comparison, it's not small by any means, but it is small enough that I can fit it in a small bag and not really worry about it being too large for anything else that I'm carrying. You'll see here that I have these little Peak Design clips, these little retention pieces. These act like a cutie sling point for a wide variety of carry methods. Personally, I typically will use a standard over-the-neck strap that adjusts easily. This is the Peak Design system. I think this is their lightweight strap. They have one that's a little bit thicker for heavier cameras, but this works fine. The nice thing about this is it's interchangeable to work with the single hand strap, which sometimes is just more my thing. Depending on what I'm doing in a given day, I can have both these straps in my small bag and have it still be usable, so I can just go grab one of these or grab my neck strap. If you're a photographer, you pretty much know this already, but you should always have a little rocket blower and a microfiber cloth in there. Personally, these are what I use to clean them off. Just blow off my lenses if I get a little dust on it, wipe it off if I need to, keep them clean, don't have to worry about dealing with dust spots in post. If I want to bring a tripod along, I typically don't actually carry this around with me. I'll bring it in my car, leave it in my car, or if I need to, I can sling it behind the straps on my camera bag. Boom, small. This is a Manfrotto B-Free, plenty of adjustment. I think it gets to be about 5'6", so it's not the tallest in the world. Me being 6'2", I've never had an issue though being able to take a portrait with myself and my other tall friends and my short friends at the same time. So it works out. The bag that I actually carried in. Now most people have all these fancy cool camera bags. There's all kinds of cool companies like Vertex making concealed carry bags and that kind of thing. I haven't spent the money on something like that, and I want something that's small. This shitty little bag with a simple strap, a little hidden pocket in the back, little pockets on the side, top pocket, plenty of pockets, very small. I got this thing for like 12 bucks in Thailand. I don't know, it works. You can basically get any bag and get one of these little like padded inserts. And what I do is I'll put my camera with this in the bag. I can just tuck that in there perfectly and boom, there it sits. It's protected enough. It's not waterproof by any means, but I've been in and out some light drizzles and it's fine. So it works for me. Okay, so this section that I'm going to talk about now is going to be my medical gear, but it's also going to be my everyday backpack that I carry with me. Now, I've owned this pack for probably 4 years at least, I would say. Basically, when this pack first got announced, boom, I copped one instantly. This here is the first gen. I'm not sure if they've got any future ones. This is the Haley Strategic Flat Pack. It's basically just a small backpack, very flat, very small, but it's got these zippers on the bottom and the side that allows it to expand a lot further. So I've taken this on short day hikes where I just need to carry like a water bottle and some basic medical gear, maybe a little snack, something small. You know, if someone else is carrying a lot of the other gear and I just want something small, boom, this is perfect. But it also allows me to have a perfect size pack that allows me to fit all my medical gear in it that we'll talk about now. Now, medical gear is something that we don't really talk about enough. I think a lot of people are doing great jobs to kind of improve the likelihood of people carrying it and improve the commonality of it, which is important. You're more likely to need medical gear than you are to need any sort of gun or defensive tool. So my medical gear in here. First, got a Gen 7 cat tourniquet. Get the real thing. Buy it directly from North American Rescue. Do not buy it on Amazon. There are a ton of fakes. I cannot stress this enough. Do not buy tourniquets or any life-saving equipment like that from Amazon. Ton of fakes out there. This is a little first aid kit that I got for my work. Yeah, I work for PG&E. I went from working in a gun shop that California hates to another industry that California hates. What a surprise. Boom. Small. I've got all kinds of things like my boo-boo kits on this side here. Little simple scissors, splinters, band-aids, some gloves because those are important. I have a disposable CPR respirator. You're more likely to need something like this than anything else. You know, if someone collapses unconscious, obesity is a big thing in America. Then back here, I've got a twin pack of high-fin chest seals, some S-rolled gauze, and then in here as well, because it doesn't quite fit in this pack, I've got some other bandage gauze, so emergency trauma dressing, wraps something up real good. And that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna be the kind of person that's gonna carry around one of those like needle decompression things or a throat tube, because honestly, that's just outside of my wheelhouse. I'm looking for something that can stop a hole real quick while I call 911, or hopefully it never gets used, but I've got the tools, and even if you don't know how to use it, having it is good, because if someone around you does know how to use it, you can give it to them and they can figure it out. I am not going to tell you to use something that you don't know how to use. If you don't know how to use something, do not use it. But if you've got it and you don't know how to use it, but let's say someone's a paramedic, they can still maybe do more with it. So it's something to think about. In addition, on this pack, what I really like about it, I can basically take this little side gusset, zip it open, sneak this in here, zip it back up, and I can store like 4 mags, 2 on each side, maybe even 1 on the top if I wanted to have additional mags on me. I never really do that, but I know it's something that I could do, so fun little cool thing. I've also replaced one of these zipper pull tabs with a little O-light. This is one of the free ones that I got from buying something. Okay, so we've talked about medical gear. We've also talked about my camera gear. Moving past that, we're going to talk about the things that you're actually interested in. What I carry and how I carry on my personal body, including my gun, my flashlight, my phone, my wallet, all my other little doodads that I have with me. So let's talk about that. First and foremost, I have to mention my belt and my pants, because these are the keys. These are the backbone of how it is that I'm able to carry what I carry. Some information about me. I work in a corporate office, and I need to not look like I'm dressed for war, and I need to not look like I'm dressed to go on a hike, because you want to blend in, you want to be the normal guy. You don't want to look like a tactical Timmy in public. I also do not carry my gun at work because it is against company policy, and I'll talk about why I've made the choice to not carry even though it's against company policy. There's a lot to go into that, but we'll talk about that at a separate date. So my belt, what I actually carry for my belt, I actually own 3 belts and 2 buckles for this company. It's made by Core Essentials, and what they are is a belt with a ratcheting system, which I'll show you here. So this belt with a ratchet, basically how it works is you can close it up tight, whatever adjustment you want, and then to adjust it from there, you click on this little lever right here. Boom, let it out, let it in. This is great for a few reasons. It allows me to adjust it whether I'm carrying my gun or not carrying my gun very discreetly. I can simply come here, tighten it, loosen it, tighten it, loosen it, tighten it, loosen it, and then I'm good. I don't need to flash my gun. I don't need to fully unbelt, unbuckle. I can do it discreetly while I'm sitting down. Let's say I just got the meat sweats from eating all you can eat. Boom, pop open, just get a few more latches on it, and it's a lot more adjustable than a typical belt, because on a typical belt, the issue that I was running into was I could never quite get it right. It was either way too tight or loose and floppy, and you don't want loose and floppy because then your gun's gonna be flopping around, and you don't want too tight because it's gonna be uncomfortable and that's gonna lead to you not actually carrying your gun. Don't want that. So the belts that I actually own, this one is definitely a more tactical looking belt. It's a lot stiffer, but it's not so stiff. It's not steel reinforced like some other ones on the market that are just so freaking uncomfortable that you're not actually gonna wear it. This one is one of their newer belts. It's much more tactical. It does come with this little keeper because otherwise you'll see here how much that actually flaps off the body. Simple, you just boom, strap it up and it retains it. The other one that I carry that I use is actually a normal looking belt. This is the brown belt that it comes with. And I also have a black one that just looks like a normal black leather belt because it is a normal black leather belt with a superior style of a method of adjustment, which I think is crucial. Moving past the belt, let's talk about the pants. The pants are Vertex Delta Stretch 2.0. These are crucial. They look like normal pants. I wear one of the same 3 colors. The dark gray, which I think I'm wearing, the light gray, and then the khaki color. They have a lot of pockets on them, which I love. It allows me to compartmentalize and carry more items, but they don't look tactical and they don't look like I'm gonna go on a 7-mile hike. Also very important. So we're gonna start at the front, work our way around, and then we're gonna talk about the gun. So starting at the front, boom. So as you can see, got my belt, front right pocket here. There's a little zipper retention, boom, 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 boom. I reach in, carry my wallet. This is a very simple wallet. Allows me to have 3 cards in the back, 2 in the front. I carry more than that. I just stack them up behind it. But 3 card compartments here, 2 there. Easily get my ID out. I need this for work, so I put my work ID in the front. I could slide it out, boom, scan in. It's RFID blocking, so you're not going to be able to get anyone to steal this. This belt used to have a little flap with a magnetic spot here that I would use to carry cash. However, I never carry cash. This is the modern age. We don't live in a cash society. So I just cut that straight off. You can get these for about $10, $15. Honestly, I think a lot of people are spending too much on a wallet when really what they need it to do is just carry their basic items, and this does that. I can also fit my CCW permit in here, which I'm not going to show you my information on. So my CCW permit fits folded up in there. Boom, boom. Got all my stuff. Cool. So in my front right pocket again, all I carry in that pocket is a tube of chapstick. This is SPF 15 and it protects my lips. I don't know what else to say. It's chapstick. Moving to the left pocket. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So my left pocket here has one thing in it, and that's it. This is my Mod Light PLH handheld. This thing is so goddamn bright. This flashlight has around 1500 lumens and I think 30,000 candela, which is super important. I could basically flash this across the street, go a whole block, and see what someone is doing in the shadows across an entire city block. Kind of insane. They have 2 head models. This is the PLH. The OKW has much more candela, but less lumens. So it throws further, but for an everyday flashlight, I think the PLH is a more well-rounded flashlight. The OKW absolutely slaps when it comes to photonic barrier penetration and just distance of throw. It's kind of insane. Both these lights get very hot if you just put them to your skin. I can feel the warmth coming off this. Any flashlight that I'm going to have for a more defensive role or a practical light, I have to do a simple test. And now what this test is, it's called my wow that sucks test. And what I do is I hold the light at arm's distance and whoo, I turn it on. And if it doesn't make you immediately, if it doesn't make you immediately think to yourself, wow, that sucks, it did not pass the wow, that sucks test. So boom, if it doesn't make you immediately just close your eyes, cripple in broad daylight, get it out of here. Not a good defensive light. Now, you've probably heard me say a couple times now, defensive light, what do you mean by that? This might be a controversial opinion, I might be wrong, and feel free to strike me down with this, but there might be situations in your life that you may face that you want some sort of tool to defend yourself with that isn't a form of violent or aggressive force. Carrying a flashlight, in my mind, is super important because it allows you to look like less of a target, and it allows you to use something that is a means of force on someone without it being aggressive. If I pull out a taser or a pepper spray or a gun, now fight is on. However, if I'm walking down the street at night, or walking back from school or something like that at night, low light situation, and someone starts yelling shit at me, I can just have this flashlight already out, point it right at their face, and boom, they're annoyed, they're walking away. It's happened to me a few times where I've been walking around at night and you kind of just know that there's some skeevy people around, and just shining them with a flashlight or having a flashlight out walking when you're walking around is going to be enough to make you not look like a target to people. So I think that's important. I have the little Raven concealment clip that they sell it with on here. Allows you to just pop it around, boom, boom, do some fancy shit, fiddle with it, boom. It's cool. $350 though, so it's kind of expensive. If you want a light that's a little bit smaller, that's easier to carry on your body, what I've had for a long time, and actually, here's one of their older models. This is an Olight S1R Baton, and the actual new one is S1R Baton 2. This one's rechargeable with a little magnetic thing in the back. This is my old one. This one actually got me out of a little bit of a sticky situation, which I might talk about in a later video. But this one is a cool little light, slips in your pocket. It's about the same size as a tube of chapstick, just a little bit thicker. It runs off a single rechargeable battery. Super easy, magnetic charging base. I'm sure you've seen 500 videos on them. Cool. Olight, they're pretty cool. Moving over to the back. Now these pants have two pockets in the rear. The rear little pocket, which you can fit a magazine, and the main pocket back here. I don't typically put anything in this main pocket on a day-to-day normal basis, but this pocket here is where I hold my iPhone X. iPhone X. Now, this is about 2 years old now. I don't have any reason to upgrade. I use a single clear case with a glass cover. I don't have a reason to upgrade. I need a phone to text, do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, social media things, and send emails. And that's pretty much it. I don't take many photos with this, but the camera on this is pretty nice. For just your average everyday thing, phone cameras are more than enough. You don't need to have a $2,000 camera to take nice photos of your friends. Goes right in my back pocket. Right here, I've also got this little side pocket right here, which can fit things like a flashlight, things like a small knife, things like a spare magazine. Fairly discreet, but personally, I kind of just tend to leave my left one empty. But moving from the back left to the back right, you see my keys. Boom. I drive a Honda Civic, nothing fancy, gets the job done, gets me to and from work. I got a little key fob for the gym I go to, 2 keys, got a house key and a work key. That's pretty much it. This hooks onto the back belt loop and goes into the second pocket on the butt. So we pop that out, and when I reach in here, AirPods, baby. You know, can't hear the haters when you got AirPods on. But I like these. I actually just picked these up a couple months ago, and I wasn't going to buy AirPods. I was going to stick with corded wires, headphones for forever. That was my plan. But then my girlfriend left hers in my backpack while I went away for a work training for about a week, and I got to use them, and I was like, oh shit, like I need those. So I ended up picking up a pair. This sits easily in that back pocket. Keys then get tucked here. And moving towards the back, my knife. Now, I'm sure the knife is something that you guys are actually interested in. This is probably one of the big reasons why you probably clicked on this way too long of a video. My knife. Now, I own 2 of these knives. These are Benchmades. This is a Benchmade 940, the original version. I also own a Benchmade 940i, which is a similar one, carbon fiber scale and a titanium backing. This one here is the Benchmade 940, the Osborne design original one. It's got a little purple backing, green scales, mine have been pretty worn in. S30V steel, which is pretty damn tough. What I really like about this knife though, is that it's got a great blade material, but the profile on it is awesome. I thought I lost this knife. I actually thought I lost the 940i a while ago. And when I thought I lost it, I was like, oh shit, I don't got a knife, I need to go buy one. And I shopped around for weeks looking for a replacement, and I didn't want to spend the nearly 200 bucks that this was gonna cost. And so I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? But I just couldn't find a knife that felt as good as this thing. It's got a very small profile on it, but it's a full-size blade, so I think it's super cool. Let's get that to focus. The profile on it is awesome. The finish is great. I love it. I love flicking it open like this. The Benchmade action is superior to all others in my mind. I'm sure that probably pissed off a lot of people about their Spydercos, their whatever, their slide lock, but the Axis lock, I love it. I love it for fiddling. It's just an awesome system. So now, we've talked about my medical gear. We've talked about my camera gear, my flashlights, my wallet, my AirPods, my keys. So let's get to the part you probably actually want to talk about. My gun, what I actually carry on a given day. I carry in the appendix position a Glock 19 in a T-Rex Arms sidecar holster. I got a spare 17 round mag, and in the gun I have a 15 round mag. This gives me a capacity with a 15+1 of plenty to handle any sort of issue that I might run into. In fact, probably more even without the spare mag. The reason I carry appendix is because for me, it's what's most comfortable. I've yet to find a hip rig that just based on my geometry works well, that doesn't get in the way, that doesn't print. I don't know what it is about carrying appendix in a sidecar style holster that just works for me. It just does. When I carry in my other holster that doesn't carry the spare mag, I find that the gun sticks out more even when it shouldn't. It makes no sense to me, but I always find myself coming back to this even when I'm wearing less clothing. It just does, I don't get it. I got a Trijicon RMR on this, Brownell's slide, which is serrated on the front and rear, and then a window cut. The window cut is to maintain a similar slide weight and reciprocation speed when adding an RMR. Also, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, simple mods on this. This gun is loaded, so just be careful about that. I got an Inforce APL-C on it because it fits flush here. I like it. It gives me enough light. It's not the brightest, but it's gonna do the job. I also have a handheld light like we talked about earlier. That would be a great combo, but I like having both a weapon mounted light and a handheld light. Stock trigger, stock internals. I have the Glock factory extended slide release and the Glock factory extended mag release. I did a video on those. I'll link that up there. This gun is fairly stock, except for the fact that I got a Brownell slide and a Trijicon RMR with just blacked out front and rear suppressor height sights. I'm sure many of you are probably going to be like, oh, that's too fancy for me, or oh, that's not fancy enough. But that's the thing about guns, is they're pretty damn accessorizable. I like a simple setup with a lot of capacity, and that's what I've got. I might at some point make a video specifically on this gun if that's something you're interested in. So if you want to hear more about this gun and why I've chosen to modify it the way I have, let me know. This video was way longer than I wanted it to be. I did not really want to make this video, but I thought it might provide value for someone to understand my thought process and my rationale of why I do and don't carry these certain things. I'm probably going to make specific videos in the future talking about each specific item because I think that they're important and they kind of deserve their own video in some ways. But for today, I think that's all. So remember, have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Have a good day, yo.